During my last days at school at St. Xavier's in Kolhapur, my father, Reverend D'Souza, Gregory D'Souza, who used to teach us maths in those days, a brilliant student from Oxford University, gave us a very important learning of life, that living is the art of getting used to what we didn't expect. It was his personal quote, not quoted by any philosopher or poet. Today, maybe 43 years down the line, I'm really understanding the meaning of his quote. The whole world is passing through one of its worst possible phases. COVID-19 is just like an attack from some alien elements actually. The economies of the world have been shattered, unemployment levels at its lowest, people craving for food, craving for job, everything virtually is coming to a standstill. A leading economy of the world like USA is forced to spend $2 trillion, which is 10% of its GDP, via cash transfers to the bank of its common people. Just imagine, $2 trillion is our economy, is equivalent to Indian economy. India is also very badly affected. Though the mortality rate in India is favorable compared to the population, COVID-19 has done a huge impact. It has neither spared the rich, nor the poor, nor the middle class. Everybody has virtually come down crashing. As a teacher, I feel that education is perhaps the biggest sector it has hit. We talk about roti, kapda and makan. We talk about bijli, sadak and pani. No government in India talks about education and healthcare. These are the primary edifices on which an economy grows. Our government doesn't want people to be educated. That's a sarcasm, and it's very true. Schools and colleges are virtually shut down since March 19 this year, when WHO declared it a pandemic, and I really don't know when it will open again. Because India has a big advantage. 65% of our population is below 35 years of age, and 50% of our population is below 29 years of age. So all our children from the age of 3, a boy going to nursery, or maybe a boy or girl of 24 doing his masters or her masters, should be saved from this pandemic. We cannot put their lives at stake. Let schools and colleges be closed till our country becomes corona-free. People who are forced to go out of their houses in search of employment, they are bound to. But we cannot take the risk on the life of our young generation. They are the future building blocks of our economy. So the most feasible alternative to conventional education is online education. It was already in practice. It was already in practice in many countries of the world, also in India. Now it has to fill up the whole void. There are many ifs and buts. Teachers teaching online should be not like robots, I've seen many of the online classes. They have to be more proactive with the students. Students should ask their queries, and the teacher should answer them maybe on the moment or maybe during the end of the day. They are free nowadays. They are being saved from the hassles of going to schools and colleges. So they are already 2 hours or 3 hours of a day's time is already saved. The biggest thing the teachers have to do now is to educate our students in the real sense. It should be education. Marks count for nothing in today's world. They have to improve the employability of the students. Employment is going to be a premium entity in the next 2-3 years. The whole world, already the rating agencies are showing that we will have a 5% shrinkage in the world GDP. I really feel these are lenient estimates. I personally feel that it will be a 10% shrinkage. I really hope that my prediction doesn't come true. But I've told many of my students that let's just hope for the best. The worst is yet to come. And if such a thing happens, it will be the worst thing in the history of the world. Online education is a very good alternative. The teachers should teach the subjects like physics, chemistry, biology through modus operandi of making the students understand what these subjects have real implications in life, real practical experiences. In India, the major problem is that people get marks 90, 95, 98. It's a rat race. Even the parents feel that, oh, my boy has got 98%. The actual billion-dollar question is what he has learned. Is he worthy of employable in the job market? That's a big question. I am starting my own platform called Gyan Scholar, GYAAN-SCHOLAR, in which I will emphasize on these facts. I want to make my students learn. I emphasize again on this word learn, not study and get marks. So once they enter into the job market, everybody, any company will take them. It will not be a case of the horse going to water. It may be a reverse case of water coming to the horse. We are in for very tough times. The teachers who are teaching online, they have to be innovative, they have to be creative, they have to give case studies to their students at least from 9-10 level so that student can write their own answers. I again emphasize on one very important fact. Students should learn to write their own answers. They should not just mug up from the textbooks of NCERT and college books and vomit in the examination. The more creative you are, the more innovative you are, the better the chances you will stand up in life. These seem to be very harsh words, but this is what I have learned through my 40 years of experience of teaching students across 8 states and all religions. I have been teaching as a private tutor, so I know the strength and weakness of every one of my students. More or less 98% of my students whom I have taught are successful in life, either in government jobs or in private companies or in big PSUs or in MNC companies abroad. Many of them may get a chance to come across this video and I would like their reactions on it. It's a I'm speaking out through the lessons I've learned in 41 years of my teaching. Online teaching will stay definitely and it will stay permanently. But one thing, the teachers have to think out of their box. They should come out of their comfort zone and really try to educate their students. It's true that teaching is a profession and you are paid for it, but they should make it more palatable. A dish, if it is made more palatable, becomes more tasty and more acceptable. Students should not just feel that, oh, it's a routine affair. They should be glued to their seats while the teacher is teaching. It used to happen in my days. I don't know when it will happen again. In my days, the teachers were so good, so efficient, that we virtually used to be glued to our seats and not just poke into our mobiles. Unfortunately, there were no mobile at that time and no games also. So we learned. I remember whatever I have learned in my school days. Every day of Father Gregory's mathematics class is still etched in my memory. Teachers of the modern generation should think that they should also have a lasting impact on the memory of students. We are in for very tough times. I am repeating this word again and again. Everything will be in shambles in the next 2-3 years. Employment will be a premium entity. We may have sporadic famines in India, all across the world. We all know that our government is a master in hiding figures. We will just see the tip of the iceberg. We cannot see the iceberg which is below the sea level. I hope my lessons to you all will be spontaneous. It is like a bitter pill, but you know all that if we have to clear a chronic ailment, sometimes bitter medicines are must. I would like to end my note, Vande Mataram.